So it's been about 2 weeks since my last update here on this channel, and it's been quite interesting to watch everybody basically piling in and checking out what the Heinlein update has brought us over the last, well, like I said, last 2 weeks. Myself, I've been out of the country, and sadly I didn't have much time to actually do some more stuff video-wise. I've been doing a lot of commenting and making sure that everybody is catered to. However, leaving all that stuff behind, it's time for Death Diary 50, the so-called journey ahead. Now, right now, as Heinlein is out, and of course the Leviathan story pack is out as well, there's quite a lot of stuff to cover with the journey ahead. Now, Heinlein, of course, being a huge update, originally, apparently they were looking for more of a larger expansion, but all the resources were piled into this update, with the Leviathan story pack being more of a secondary thing there. Now, the Leviathan story pack itself is, I find it very, very fun. There's a lot of really cool stories in there to pick up on, and I'm having a lot of fun with it in the meantime. Now, where do we stand? And that's the question that the developers have been asking themselves over the last period. Now, according to them, right now there is a very solid base to build more stuff on. Now, we can, of course, expect more free content updates, more expansions, and looking at the success of Crusader Kings 2 over the last few years, I personally would expect that we have at least 3 to 4 more years of content coming our general direction. And that's really good news for those people that love Stellaris. Now, for those people that have played Crusader Kings in the past and remember the very first time they booted it up, it's a very different game from what it is these days, and I would say that it is significantly more. It was significantly more boring than what it is right now, and I expect the same path for Stellaris in the next few years. So the quote-unquote tag here is to make space even greater. So what is going on next for Stellaris? Well, they've talked a little bit about the upcoming 1.4 Banks update, which will be a major update, which will have a full-size expansion to come with that. What that expansion is going to be, it's still in the plans, but we can all speculate a little bit on that, and feel free to drop some comments in below to see, what you guys want to see in the Banks update. Before that, before Banks comes, we have a smaller update dubbed Kennedy, which will be released before the end of the year. We'll be targeting mostly specific key issues such as the precursor events. For those of you who do not know, the precursor events are the random events that can come in and say, hey, there's this league, there's these artifacts, etc. How do we fix these? How do we find these things? Now, if you've played any of these, personally, I've never finished any of those, so we're going to see some changes in that, and basically the idea there is that we're going to find items within our empire if we can no longer find them anywhere else, especially when you have like star charts or anything like that and you want to share those with other empires. It's very difficult to find new anomalies that allows you to find these new points. So that's something that's going to come up within the Kennedy update, and this is something they wanted to address in Heinlein, but sadly they did not have the time to do so. So let's take a look at what the devs actually want, some insight into what we believe are key areas of the game that we should focus on this time. We have received and continue to receive an amazing amount of good feedback and ideas, and of course our own ambitions and ideas for where we want to take Stellaris. But at the moment, there are 3 key areas that we aim to continually target the future updates and content with. Mainly fleshing out the mid and late game. The mid and late game, especially right now, is a bit, for the lack of a better word, a bit boring. There's not much to do except for combat. There is a bunch of expansion stuff, but of course with Leviathan's update, you have the Fallen Empire event chains, more stuff with the Leviathans, and the War in Heaven, and all that stuff. So that's very, very interesting. Improving internal workings of empires, making pops and leaders more interesting to make empires feel more alive. And this is the probably also the coveted bit of adding NPC ships that just buzz around through systems from place to place to make things feel a little bit more alive, so to speak. Like, right now we've got our own ships, but there's nothing else floating around except for like the big AI stuff. Let's see here. More interesting narratives and galactic events akin to Awakened Fallen Empire to shake up the galactic scenes and stuff like that as well on top of that. Expanding the ethics system, creating a more unique play styles with enhanced role-playing. Now, this is something that has actually been iterated on quite a lot over the last few days. Wiz, who is the lead developer on the project, has actually come out and said that they're pretty much going to shit can the entire ethics system and bring something completely new in there, or at least something that will rework the system in such a way that 1.1 or 1.0 will look nothing like it, and that's something that I'm rather excited for. Obviously, these aren't the only things they're going to be aiming on, but there are what we consider the most important areas to going forward right now. And I definitely agree. The mid to late game stuff, internal workings on empires, like factions, how things work, diplomacy, politics, internal politics especially, is something that is amiss right now. And of course, just hailing back to Crusader Kings, which in my opinion is still Paradox's best game to date, dealing with your internal struggles was pretty much the main point of the Empire. Like, Conquest is fine and all that, but managing your internal workings of your Empire, especially in the mid-game, was one of the key takeaways there. Now, obviously, right here, we don't have all that many family trees, so to speak, like in CK2. Of course, if you are a monarchy or an empire, you have your emperor and the line of succession, all that, but there's not much iteration on that particular subject, which is something that I am looking for. So there's also a small list here of items that they want to address. Ship appearance that differ for each empire. No two empire ship look exactly the same, so small modifiers there. That's going to be pretty heavy on the art department. More story events and reactive narratives that gives a sense of an unfolding story as you play, which is huge. They literally just brought on board a new story writer who worked on titles such as God, no, I just cannot remember. It's the one where London is underground, and basically there's a bunch of Cthulhu-esque stuff going on there. So there's a lot of very talented story writers now on board with Paradox, even more than they already had in the past. More potential for empire customization, ability to build competitive tall empires. So for those people that don't know what a tall empire is, right now, let's say you want to build an empire, you kind of need to spread out as much as you can, get as many resources as you can. Tall empires are all about small empires that are either technologically advanced or can build local resources at high cost and that sort of thing. So basically a lot more focus on your micro rather than your macro empire. Deeper Federation, it starts as a loose alliance and can eventually be turned into a single state, do diplomatic maneuvering. That's pretty cool. I've been playing around with some of the Federation stuff in 1.3, and it's actually quite good. The whole chicaning alliances stuff, I think, was a great decision. And yeah, having more Deeper Federation mechanics would be quite good. I'm looking forward to that. Ability to set rights and obligations for particular species in your empire. That right there is very nice. Like if you want to have a dedicated slave population or specific like caste build empires, like the Tau from 40K comes to mind right there, where you have different castes that have their own roles. Would be kind of cool to have like more different things to work with in terms of your empire. Global food that can be shared between planets. Thank God for that. Right now, all food is localized, which makes no sense because, you know, you've got FTL. You can fly from A to B pretty much instantly. So food right there would be quite useful. Super weapons and planet killers. Oh my, that seems to be joyous as well. Ability to construct space habitats and ring worlds. I doubt if we're going to see ring worlds akin to what the Fallen Empires have, because that would take beyond forever. But space habitats definitely, like putting in like a Lagrange point or something like that, or like a Halo-style ring world would be kind of cool. More interesting mechanics for pre-FTL civilizations. I've actually done quite a lot of experimentation with the FTL civilizations, and they can be pretty fun to play around with if you know what you're doing. probably be doing a video about that in the near future. Factions are proper interest groups with specific likes and dislikes and the potential of a benefit to an empire instead of just being rebels. That is the internal politics stuff right there. A galactic community with interstellar politics and a space UN, like, I wonder how that's going to work out. Buildable dreadnoughts and titans. I've had so many questions on the channel asking, hey man, like the dreadnoughts, pretty cool. How can I build more of them? Well, looks like we're going to have it. But again, this is not a list of priorities, and this is may or may not sort of material. So we'll see whether or not that's actually going to pop up in the future at any point. But basically, that is it from a roadmap idea of where Stellaris is going to be going towards. And the devs are very, very interested in working with the community and making the journey ahead as much fun as they have in the development team, and that's something that I'm very, very happy with. Bit of a short update today. The Dev Diary was not particularly big on this week, which is a bit of a shame, but you know, what else can you do? In the meantime, there's a bunch of items that I want to cover. Like I said, I was away for about 2 weeks because I had stuff to do for my good friends over at Blizzard. That's Blizzard Entertainment, and that's why I was in LA. However, there is a bunch of items that I want to cover, and I'm currently scripting the much-requested Enigmatic Fortress mechanics video, and of course the Stellaris and all the other stuff, and the dimensional horror. There's definitely videos for that coming up, and more versus videos as well, X versus Y in the works, and I have dug up an old dusty script for about the FTL systems and how they all work. So that's coming up as well. Your support has been absolutely great. We grew over 2,000 users, subscribers in the last 2 weeks, and I've been absolutely blown away by your feedback regarding all of this, and I'm looking forward to see more stuff in the future. Let's hit that 10K, and yeah, that seems to be a decent milestone. Until next time, take good care of yourselves, and of course, each other.